Merlin network magic. Okay, so hot on the heels of learning VRFs, let's go ahead and try to do an end-to-end development of Learn platform. So I'm going to make sure I switch over to my screen, little echo effect. Now here in GitHub, this is how we're going to do this end-to-end. I'm going to hop into Merlin. We're going to make a branch called Learn platform to control our development inside of this branch. And you can see it's even with main. So now how I like to do it is to go into my Ubuntu and activate my environment, change into the Merlin directory, and then launch VS Code using code space period or dot, which launches VS Code inside of that virtual environment. So now that I'm in the virtual environment, I have to make sure that I'm in the right branch. So I've changed to the Learn Platform branch here to do my development free and safe from affecting main while we develop and test. All right, so again, right off the top, I'm going to need a folder or several folders, and let's just make our folders now. So in the DevNet sandbox, we're going to make a folder called Learned Platform. We're going to put a git ignore file in here to instantiate it. And then we are going to also put it inside of XE, Learned Platform. And instantiate that folder. And then the next thing that we need are templates. And what we're going to do is go find those templates inside of NXOS. Now here they are. Learn VRF. And we're going to just copy these files, and then we're going to rename to platform. Rename platform. Rename platform. Now let's scrub all these files. This is going to be platform now. And this one again, I just empty this down to here, make that platform, and get rid of everything here. Just save that as an empty skeleton, and I'm going to do the same here and save this as an empty skeleton as well. Again, until I know what the JSON looks like. And again, I just leave this as an empty skeleton that's easy enough to rebuild with my new logic. Yeah, I guess I can just do that. And that's platform. All right, so now we have empty templates, empty Jinja 2 templates, more or less. So now we're going to go find our Nexus Merlin. And again, all I need to do here, I'm going to start at the top. And this is platform, so LMNOP. So we're going to copy OSPF, go to the end of OSPF, platform, whoops. Platform, and now would be a good time to just confirm that this is going to work at the CLI. So while I'm in here, I'm going to grab my -- testbed. I'm going to quickly make a dir called learn. Oh, learn already exists. Good, learn. And I'm going to say Genie learn platform. Paste in the testbed. Oh, whoops. Ha, I keep doing this. I forgot that I'm in a subfolder. There we go. Let's do this again. Have a little coffee while that learns platform. Now again, we don't know. It worked, and I have 2 output files in the Learn folder. Let's go take a look at them. Now this is a virtual platform, so we're going to, there might not be things like interfaces, But Camelot, Cisco, no, where did learn go? Learn. Console, okay, good. So we did learn, and it's got a chassis and a couple slots and some stuff here. Look at all this stuff we get. All right. Now, again, I'm going to rename this to .json and take a quick look at the data structure. So we get the chassis, the serial number, directory, disk free, total. Look at all this great stuff that we get. And then the slots. And then all the virtual interfaces. Very cool. Very cool. So now let's turn this into Merlin from the CLI. And I'm all done with this learn folder now. Let me get rid of that so it doesn't end up in the repository. And all right, let's go from there. That's incredible. So now in Merlin, we have to copy the file. So let's find the, let's do a simple one that we can replace easily. ACL is a good one. And we're going to go find OSPF and tuck this in between OSPF and, okay, hang on, VRF, VLAN, routing, OSPF right here. Okay. OSPF looks broken too. I'm missing the for loop. I should fix that. Why is OSPF wrong? I'm going to fix OSPF while we're here. OSPF should have this, all this other stuff, and it does not. So, oh, I understand why. I'll come back to OSPF. Never mind. Sorry. OSPF is funny. Remember how with VRF, when I was done with NXOS, I just copied it all into iOS because I know it's there's parity there in the data models. For whatever reason, I'm going to revisit OSPF. It might be that my pyATS version was behind. That's likely the cause. But I had slight differences actually between my iOS and my NXOS for OSPF. So that's why right now I'm just copying the same JSON. So I'll come back to that. Anyway, let's not get distracted. Let's finish platform here. Platform, so any capital ACLs, we're going to get rid of the ACL with platform. And I don't do this with the find replace because of the upper and lowercase versions of this path. So I just do the folders first. And then I replace all of the underscore lowercase. And this is going to be learn platform, and now I look for ACL here like this, and I replace that with platform, and we step through it carefully. Right, so there's going to be 3 templates. Our main template that holds the CSV Markdown HTML, then the network JSON template, then the network JSON HTML template, the front end for the network graph. And we have a directory and a file name. I save it to JSON, I save it to YAML, I save it to the loop. Now again here, I don't know what the parent key is. There's likely multiple parent keys, so we're just going to get rid of that and continue stepping through, and there'll be another one of those that I need to replace. Pardon the dogs. Sorry about the dogs in the background. Where am I? I have 3 dogs, and sometimes people come by the property or something, and it winds them up a little bit. Sorry, pardon the dogs. So I've just finished stepping through, and it jumped down to ACLs, and I don't want to replace any further. So now let's go review what we just did here with the green, and make sure that this looks all good to the human eye. So learn platform, if self learn platform is not none, 3 templates, directory, file name. Right, this is what I'm going to be evaluating, this JSON file that we get, to then build the templates for everything south of this. But we will get, oh, I missed one here. Good. See, that's why I do this. I missed one last. There we go. And that should be platform. There we go. Okay, good. I'm glad I checked that. So now again, I'm going to get some empty files, but I should in this Camelot Excalibur DevNet Learn platform. Let's run it side by each. And we'll watch the files come in here as they come in. And I should be able to, I got to get out of this folder. And then I should have the command to run it. There we go. All right. So we're going to do this small, so the ASCII will be thrown off. But I'm doing it this way so we can watch at the step that it happens, the platform files start to come in. All right. I'm going to reach out to the pyATS folks and let them know that, again, my problems with Learn VRF and Learn Platform are related to my version of pyATS. So they'll be happy to hear that. I should reach out to them. I'll do it. I forgot I'm recording. I was about to call it up and ping them. On the topic, though, I may as well do this real quick. There's a general pyATS community in WebEx that's very easy to find. There's like almost 1,000 people in here. It's a very active community with very high-end professionals discussing their problems and their implementation and their use cases. The pyATS team is always there to answer questions. Then I have this Merlin, my own. We're up to about 40 people, where you can come and we can talk about this project. Okay, so everything passed. Why is the Learn Platform folder empty? That is weird. Why is it empty? I see why it's empty. So as you can see, we've flipped back over to the Merlin logo because of the technical difficulties. In all seriousness, I've hit a snag that I didn't think, using repeatable code, I'm going to learn something, I'm going to go into .info, I'm going to turn that into the JSON file and then template from there. Well, I'm not getting the JSON file. You can see me sort of go, huh? And puzzle as to what has happened here. Where is the file? So let's just explore this. It's a good opportunity to learn. So if I strip .info, I actually get the hex value of the platform object. Okay, so that's good. And this is JSON underneath this, if I can get at it. But when I try .info, it says platform object has no attribute .info. Right? So then this nice guy, Joshua Bronikowski, he reached out, and what he found was that use to dic, right, to dictionary. And he seemed to get it to work. So then, hey, boom, it worked. We get the dictionary. So this platform one is just a little unique in that regard. So how did I handle it? And I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, okay. Well, again, I have these general functions. So I copied one of the functions. I renamed it to parse dic function, parse the dictionary function. And I added, instead of .info, or instead of nothing, parse the to dictionary. Great. Well, I don't need to run it to show you, right? I got the complete, I can show you the results here, right? Everything passed, everything looks good this time. And now, when I go into the folder, I actually have, hey, there it is, the platform JSON. So now we can pick up and where we left off and go ahead and template this. Now, I don't have anything. I have to go back to the Python, and I assume I haven't renamed that yet. There's a little fix I need to make, and also something I want to highlight to everybody. So where's learned platform? Platform here. Okay, so right here, sometimes, yeah, it still says to parse access list. That's what I wanted to fix, to platform. And here. Now, Sometimes there's a parent key like VRF, or if I want just the slot here or just the virtual device, I could pass that in as a parent key. But for now, I just want to parse platform. All right. Now there's only going to be a certain number of for loops in this. So we need to split screen here. We need to go find our empty Jinja 2 template. Excuse me. It's allergy season, and my wife is out weed whacking, and it's really making me dry and, and allergic right now. So pardon that. Let's go make our template. So we go to Templates, Cisco, NXOS, Learned Platform, the base platform. And then we just sort of start picking and choosing fields. I see a couple places for some for loops there and there. But everything else is just a straight call. Now what I'm going to do, I'll show you, I'll do one or two, and then I'll stop the video and go ahead and do the rest of it. And you know, as a time lapse kind of thing, because you really don't need to see me template this whole thing. It's going to take a bit of time, and I can save you the time in this video. So let's just say chassis, right? That's the first one we're going to have. So let's just say here the header is going to be chassis, and then the next row I'm going to have, right, the name of that toParsePlatform.chassis. So just like that. And I'm going to build a row horizontally of all of the, the serial number, the directory, anything that's of value. We're going to put it horizontally in a CSV file, then a markdown file, then an HTML page. There's going to be a couple loops for slots and for virtual devices. And we'll assemble all of this into a nice CSV file. So I'm going to time lapse this. We'll see in a few minutes. I really want to thank, again, I want to thank Joshua Bronikowski for helping me get over this platform thing. I've been struggling with platform for a while now, to the point of opening some tickets, and it was just simple. And so he gave me some real good Python pointers on how to find this, and a tool I'm going to install called IPython that sort of lets you see what is behind when you dot what you can call into. And using that tool, he was able to see there is no .info, but there is a to dictionary. So thank you again, and let's I'll get the template done, and I'll come back in a few minutes. Thanks. Okay, everybody, we are back. I have finished the templating. I worked so hard on these templates, I worked up a sweat. I had to take off my shirt and put a t-shirt on. Anyway, we're back. So again, what our goal was here was to finish the template, the Jinja 2 file that makes the CSV file, the markdown file, and the HTML file. From the markdown file, provided it's well formed and valid, we can then use Node.js markmap to turn that into an interactive HTML mind map, and then with a different set of JSON Jinja templates, we can render and generate another Node.js JavaScript called net.json network graphs. And you kind of say, well, what kind of network graph are you going to make out of platform information? Well, you'll see. I just like to use it and do it because I have the data, and I'll show you. We'll see. So let's get it right into it and get back into the code base. So now don't freak out. This is what the finished Jinja 2 template looks like, and we're going to go over it. So line 1 is just has my check to say if I'm on CSV, then do CSV. All right, now everything you see, just like a comma separated value file, I need a header row of columns that are comma separated. Now what's interesting here is that I don't have any for loop or anything yet. Now these lines are the individual rows that are going to write into the CSV file. Now the first line is sort of an explicit line that just says write in the router type, the chassis, the serial number, the uptime, etc. But there's no loop because it's just singular data. Now if I go to the end of this row, you're going to see here's where I start to do my loops. So that the next row, right, I have NA for a bunch of fields because they don't apply, but then I have the subslot. name. Now, again, at the end of this row, I have different for loops for the interfaces, where I have, again, a bunch more NAs until I get to the interface.status. You sort of follow so far? And then at the end here, I close up those for loops, and then I say else, meaning it wasn't CSV, it was Markdown. Well, Markdown has the concept of a title, right, which I can put in here, learn platform. And then to make a table, right, lines 6 and 7 here in Markdown are the equivalent of line 1 in CSV. But because of the, I have to use Markdown format for the Markdown file. And it uses pipes as opposed to commas. Now down here is probably the easiest way to read it, and I do this on purpose, for the HTML page. So I have a table with a header row with all the different table information, and then I have my hard-coded platform information, and then my different loops to make the tables, right? So now I should be able to template these 3 files. Now let's quickly look into the other Jinja 2 templates. Now this Jinja 2 template makes the HTML page that I browse to view the network graph, and it calls the other JSON file that we're generating from Jinja 2 that looks like this. Now again, this is about nodes and links. So everything above here establishes all of our nodes. And if I put this up side by side, you saw me earlier, this is where I get this code from. It looks very much like this, except I don't need any of the NA fields. I don't need those. I just don't include them. But I have my type and my chassis, my serial number, etc. as nodes. And then, well, links is as you can imagine, is how these nodes are interconnected. So I link things like the type and the chassis to the alias of the device, which is my anchor point, the host name. But things like here, for example, I take the total space and link it to the parent, but then I link use space and free space to total space. We have free reign over how we want these graphs to assemble. Okay, so that's sort of how it's done. And a quick reminder, because, right, let's take a deep breath. Jinja 2 is the templating engine. And as you can see, I've just shown you 4 different ways that we can generate CSV, Markdown, HTML, a different format of HTML, and now JSON. So I have to create a valid JSON file with this template, which means I can't just hard code commas the whole way down, because the last one can't have a comma, and I'll show you this. So what we do is we use a bit of logic and we track the loop that we're on, and when I'm on the last loop, I simply don't put a comma. Other than that, JSON is relatively simple to template. As you can see, we have the square brackets and the mustaches. We have commas here, and we don't have commas here. It's pretty simple to template. So now, as I've told you, I've deleted these files out of here to show you I'm not cheating in any way. And let's go ahead and time it with all of this platform information and all of the other information. Right? Again, this is just one function that we've added today. But let's just get a sense on how long this takes over my crummy 5 meg down, 1.5 meg up DSL in the Quebec mountainside. So it's going to be a little slower. And again, remember, we don't need all this output. I choose to leave it in. But you can easily suppress the pyATS logging. You can easily comment out all the ASCII artwork. No problem. When I get to Docker containers, I'm certainly not going to have half of this stuff. I'm going to want to run it as fast as possible with as little output as possible. But for now, to run Merlin, I like the little placeholders to show where I'm at, show people where they're at. They have all of the logs. All right, so everything's passed. And here we go. I have the JSON, right? I have it in YAML. And now let's look at the CSV file. All right. So what I have is the parent chassis. Whoops. The parent chassis with its serial number and its uptime and its directory, its disk information, its boot flash image, its main memory, its operating system, the version it's running, and then that's about it. Everything else is NA for the parent row. But here I have the slots, right? And we can manipulate this to say, just show me the slots. Great, those are the slots. And I don't have to worry about any of this NA stuff, but I can see that the slot is active, the slot is okay. The slots have serial numbers if I'm troubleshooting with TAC and they need an actual part serial number. I have the boot flash, the uptime, the redundancy state because this is the RP. Okay, so then we can look at all slots. Now what are all these other fields with NA? Well, we just go further down this normalized CSV and we change the virtual device to only be the virtual devices. Right, so now we have all of the virtual interfaces from 1 through 64 and that they're all active, they're all virtual Ethernet, and they're all okay. We represent the same thing in Markdown. Let's make sure this rendered nicely. Sure did, looks great. And then we can look at the HTML page. And let's just quickly look here, right? So there's our header row. We can see that we've inherited some style sheet. And we have, right, looks good. What does it render like in a browser? Should look like, yeah, just like the CSV file, except in a nice HTML page. Pretty cool. Now let's look at the mind map. Now the mind map is going to be crazy because there's so many interfaces. Yeah, I thought so. But if we go to the very top, the tippity top here, we can see, right, we have, there's our parent, there's our slots, and then we start to get into interfaces. Now I have to turn on the web server real quick to look at the network graph, excuse me. And let's go look at the network graph for platform. Okay, and it's pretty wild. But as we can see, we have all of our virtual devices here. They are all okay. They all share the status of okay. Right? They're all type Ethernet. It has a directory of boot flash with a boot flash image that is NXOS version 9.3. You know, because I've chosen to chain the boot flash directory to the image, to the version and the operating system. We've got our subslots here. We've got our uptime for the subslots. And you can see that uptime is shared. Let me zoom out. It gets a little crazy, I know, and I don't know why it floats around. It's a lot of fun. Uptime is shared between, right, the parent host name and the subslot, which makes sense. Pretty neat stuff. So that wraps up today, this video. So what we did was we struggled a little bit, to be honest with you. We tried to refactor and repeat. Do not repeat yourself. We just tried to copy and paste working code with as few keystrokes as possible, right? That's our goal as developers, is to be efficient and use as few keystrokes as possible. And it went well until .info just wasn't there, and it's because .info is not part of the learned platform functions. I had to use the toDictionary function. As soon as I had that, I went ahead and templated the JSON. Now I have those business ready documents. I have it in different formats that we're ready to go. So just today I've done Learn VRF and now Learn Platform. I hope to make a follow-up video about Learn Config. So check that one out. It'll be up soon. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you're learning. I hope you're having fun. And most importantly, I hope you're cloning this code and trying it for yourself. Thank you.